edit it. It doesn't have to be perfect from the beginning to the end. So just make sure you say their names and the date,
Okay.
and who's the interviewee. Is it running?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can you hear yourself? Can you hear yourself when you're talking?
Yeah.
Can you hear yourself?
Yeah, on the camera. Can you hear when he's talking to us?
He's already interviewing. It's going now.
It's not going yet.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's going. Okay.
Well, you can erase that part then.
No, I can't. So.
What do you got? Us from here up? Where's that? Where am I? Where's
No, I can see your knees.
See my knees? You don't want to see my knees?
Dad.
Okay, what's your name?
James Allen Kleparek.
What's your name?
Lois. Kleparek. Isn't that weird? We have different names.
Lois Gardner. You say your last name is Gardner.
My maiden name is Gardner. My name now is Kleparek.
Today is January 3rd, 2008, and it is approximately 9 o'clock at night in Florida.
Yeah, freezing.
Yeah. Supposed to be 27 here tonight.
No, sorry. I got a problem with my plugs, you know. Anyway, I'm very happy to have this archives for our grandchildren, maybe great-grandchildren even, years down the road. That's why Anton wanted to do this, for posterity's sake. He told us several times, I guess, and including today or yesterday, that he wanted to do this for posterity's sake. For posterity.
Sorry.
What are you doing?
Tickling you. That brings life to the picture. Don't you know?
So tell me about yourself.
You gotta be more specific than that. Gosh, I'll tell you.
What's the one thing in your life that stands out to you in your memory most of all?
In my memory that stands out? My children, I guess. Right? Doing activities with my children, I guess. I don't know, like the time I took my children up to Canada on a bicycle trip, or when we went hiking. The bicycle trip with Anton, that's you, from Whidbey Island to Provo, in Pleasant Grove. I don't know, not any one thing. I don't know if there's any one thing. Getting married to her back 31 and a half years ago. Going through the temple for the first time on January 2nd, 1975. That was an historic event, whatever. I don't know if there's any just one thing.
I think part of what happens is the things that we come to become the most important that we've done so far. So you have most important things growing on each other.
Getting married on June 6th. That's Jacob's birthday. June 3rd. Getting married on June 3rd in 76. That's what I was thinking. Not June 6, 73, but June 3, 76. See?
Yep.
Freudian slip.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
So where did you go to school?
Highline, me?
Yes.
Highline High School. I started off, I didn't go to kindergarten. My folks moved into Berrien in 49, this summer, and I started school in September of 49, when I was in the 6th grade.
You started school in 6th grade?
I was 6. I started the 1st grade.
Okay, that's what you said before, right?
And I started in 49, And I attended Sylvester, Sunnydale grade school until I'm the 7th grade. Then I went in the 8th and 9th grade. I went to Sylvester Junior High, and then 10, 11, and 12 high school. I went visit Highline High School in Burien in South Seattle. So it's a city, incorporated city now, but it used to be part of Seattle, Burien. And so I attended my whole school time right there in the same area, because Sunnydale was located here, Sylvester over here, and the high school here, and I lived right in the middle. So that was my school days.
What about college?
He didn't ask about college, did he?
What school did you go to?
Elementary
Oh.
school?
Sure.
I started in Pleasant Grove, Utah at Central School, and when I was in 2nd grade, they built a new school out from town called Grove Crest, and I went there starting 3rd grade, and then to Pleasant Grove Junior High, which was the old high school, because they just built a new school, and then I went to the Pleasant Grove High School. I had 200 in my graduating class, but only 180 graduated. Others had dropped out. And I went to Utah State, where I got my BA degree, BS. It's a BS degree. And then graduate work I've done at BYU and College of Southern Utah, and a little bit here and a little bit there.
What about you, Dan? What college did you go to?
Well, okay, college. Well, before I wanted to tell you before I started school too. I lived where the airport, SeaTac Airport is. I was actually born in West Seattle General Hospital in August 30th, 43, and my folks at the time were living in 154th, right now where the north end of the airport is, SeaTac Airport. It's covered over, well, I don't know if it's covered over completely. The old road's still there, but it's part of the tracking for the airport. And then they moved out to Maple Valley, and my dad lived out there and ran a farm for 3 years before my brother, he joined the Navy in 48, and my dad moved, couldn't handle the farm himself, so the next summer, 49, is when he moved back into Seattle, or actually Burien, and because he commuted 10 miles to work. He worked downtown Seattle. It's fun, okay. I got that wheeze because I got cancer going through, cancer affecting my lung and laryngeal nerve. That's why I can't talk very good. Anyway, I didn't go to college till I was out of the service, and several years later, when I got out of high school, I was not interested in school at all, but I did join the Navy, and I thought I'd go to USAFI class. I'd take a USAFI class and learn English, because I thought, well, maybe I should do a little bit of school, let's see if I liked it. But I didn't like it. I got out of the Navy in 64, and went to 1 year of college at Skagit Valley College. I just took general ed classes because I really wasn't interested in college. I was interested in getting out of the Navy, because it helped me to go to school. I was able to go and apply for school because it started the day I got out of school. The day I was supposed to get out of the Navy, that's when school started. So they let me out 3 weeks early from the Navy, which turned out to be positive because I didn't have to stick around for Vietnam. Because the day after I got out, they were holding back discharge companies, and they were extending people in the Navy. So I got out and went to school that first year, and I committed myself. I was a person, if I commit myself, I'd have to do it, or feel like I needed to complete that commitment. I committed myself to 1 year of school, and even though the guys in the Navy that I went to school with, there were 3 others, they all dropped out of school before the end of school. I completed that 1 year because I committed myself to that. So I went to that 1 year of school, 64, 65. Then after that, I was interested in school until I found out I had a GI Bill that would pay for school. And also I took some communication, electronics classes through correspondence. And I figured I did so well in there. I started in 1970, and I completed that course in 73. And I said, hey, this is great. I got good grades in that. I'm going to continue on into college. So I went into and applied for VA, Veterans to pay for schooling. I paid for that through the VA. I went to 2 years of college and got home a 3.5 average in electronics, and thought, hey, I can go on to more school. By that time I had joined the LDS church, and I figured, hey, what the heck, I can go to BYU. They're a prestige school. I can go and be in a big college.
So was all the previous school all done at Skagit Valley?
Yeah, previous school. The first one was Skagit Valley, the next 2 years. So I spent actually 3 years at Skagit Valley College, and then went 2 years to BYU and got my bachelor degree in, I started off in electronics, but found that electronics in university is different than in college. It's a little bit tougher. And so I figured I had a chance to take communication and English. So I did a 3-way course and graduated in a general ed course in communication, electronics, and English degree, which was a prerequisite actually to a creative writing degree. And that's what I wanted to actually get into, was creative writing.
So you said you went to 1 year of school, and then you said again in 70 you started. So what did you do between 1965 and 1970?
First winter, I worked actually I got out of school in June of 65. That summer, I took off in early August, late July. I left for around the States, just working as a ranch hand, and various jobs. I worked as a construction worker and different things. I worked until on a pig farm. I worked until December. Was it just past Thanksgiving, December, and I left. I was in Iowa. I got as far as Iowa. I was going to come down to the south, where I am now. That's how come I never been here, because I never made it. I took off from Iowa, went back and stayed 2 weeks in Denver, where Freddie, my nephew Fred Celine, was stationed in the Air Force. He went home on leave. We went together. I came back home to the...
Was he in Denver or at Air Force?
He was in Denver, at whatever Air Force base is in Denver. And we came home together. Then he went off to Vietnam, and I got a job working at the shipyard starting in January 6th, I think it was. of 1966. I was working at Lockheed Shipyard. I got a job working on Navy contracts for Navy ships.
Is that where your dad used to work?
That's where my dad used to work. And I got on because he had a minor stroke and could not work. And I convinced the discharge lady, the person that assigned you to work, I convinced her that I needed to get the job there because my dad was had a stroke and couldn't work, and I was the only one there to support the family. I was the youngest child, you know. I had 3 older sisters and an older brother that were way older and married. And so I felt that I wanted to help my mom and dad because they were living on the island on Social Security, which wasn't very much. My dad didn't have what do you call it, retirement?
Pension?
He didn't have a retirement because they didn't offer it to him when he worked. He worked 35 years for the Machinist Union, but they never had retirement for him or nothing. They didn't even give him a gold watch. All they gave him was a certificate like this, 35 years with the Machinist Union. So I figured I needed to help support him. So I got an apartment in Seattle, and then I went out to the island every weekend that I could, and helped give him money for food, and just kind of did things out there for him on Whidbey Island, and I lived in Seattle. And I worked at the shipyard until 72. 72.
So you worked and went to school at the same time?
I
For a little bit?
That course I took.
Oh, that's right, online.
Was an online
Correspondence.
It was online. They didn't have online.
They didn't have computer courses back
It was
then.
not a computer course. It was an electronics from Cleveland Institute of Electronics. It was a book course in broadcast engineering. Actually, broadcast engineering. You see, I got married the first time on October 19th, 68. And after I got married, I thought that I was working at a shipyard, and I thought I needed to get a job. My goal, my dream was to be a disc jockey, working at a radio station. Because I used to do that as a kid when I was in high school. I used to pretend my dad made me a microphone, and I used to have this record player, and I'd play records and stuff as a kid. And so I wanted to be a disc jockey, and I loved Frosty Fowler and Bucket Butter, B-Ball, Butterball, Richie. He was a disc jockey, and Frosty Fowler, and who's the other guy? Can't remember them guys. And they were all my favorite people, and they were still around when I got back from the Navy, some of them guys. And so I went and wanted to go study to be a disc jockey. But to be a disc jockey, I had to know some electronics. So I started studying about electronics and found out that to make any money at it, you have to have a first class radio telephone, FCC radio telephone permit degree. You have to be a licensed radio telephone operator to be a disc jockey. So I started the course thinking that if I studied this course, they told me I would be able to get my first class license. Well, when I finished the course after 3 years, I still didn't have my license. I knew a lot about electronics. So I I was ready to go back to school in '73 because I applied for college so I could an electronics course from Skagit Valley College, and I studied. I passed this course from Cleveland Institute of Electronics, and then I went to go to school. Well, this crazy woman I was married to, she said she'd support me in that. I signed up for school. I was all set to go. And all of a sudden she says, I don't want to do that. I want to go to New Zealand. New Zealand? Yeah. She was Canadian. She wanted to move to New Zealand. So I spent 6 months getting my visa and getting my passport and all this stuff, getting ready to go, getting shipped, all right, set this right down to the last thing. We're all going to go to New Zealand. And then said, okay, I need to know now. We're going to New Zealand. All signed up and everything. She says, I don't want to go to New Zealand. She says, I'm in love with a guy across the street. I don't like you anymore. I don't want to see you anymore. She kicked me out. I signed up for school up at Skagit Valley College, went myself. She didn't want to come with me up to school. So she ran off with a guy across the street. I got divorced in '73, within '73, and I went to school in Mount Vernon, and I took off on my own. And of course, I had already joined the church. That was back in '69. And so I sought out the church. Kind of dropped out a little bit there at first. I sought out the church. The guy, our bishop, got me activated again. Branch president, branch president of Bishop, branch president of South Whitby, and the bishop of Oak Harbor Ward. They got me activated. They got me signed up for college at BYU. I went to BYU. So I started in there, went to these dances up there. Since I was not married, no kids, no requirements, no. And so I started dancing on October 3rd in 1976. 75. October 3rd, 1975. I danced with this young lady. And she was all ready to go. By golly. So I met her mom, and her mom looked at me. I met her aunt, and her aunt went, "You're gonna marry this creep? He's been married before. He's used."
No, it wasn't.
So I married her, Salt Lake Temple, up in the upper room on the 3rd of June, 1776.
1776? I hope it was 1976.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's hear Mom's story.
Okay.
What did you study in school?
I studied to be a teacher when I first had my dream, and guess I really wanted to be a wife of a horse rancher, but I never had that dream happen. So I thought that was pretty good that we had the island property, better than living in a city. But anyway, so I wanted to be a teacher. I come from a long line of teachers in our family,
And educators.
And I just thought that'd be a good job to have. And I really wanted to be a PE teacher, but my two aunts that were teaching school, elementary school, said, you don't have as many job opportunities when you're teaching in PE. There's only 1 or 2 PE teachers in a whole town, and then the rest, but if you go into elementary, there's lots of teachers, so you have more job opportunities. And that was back in the day when they did not have specialties in elementary school. You didn't have a PE teacher, a computer teacher, and all the music teachers separate. Each class did their own thing. So I went ahead and went into elementary education. I went to Utah State graduated from there.
All of your
And-
classes were taken from Utah State?
For my undergraduate degree was. And 1 year I had to go to summer school because I had done not so good in a couple of classes and I needed an extra quarter to graduate. We were on the quarter system then. And so when I came to my last quarter at school, I only had to take like 8 hours to graduate, but I had to take 12 in order to get the money from the government that I was getting after my dad died to pay for the tuition. So I went ahead and took a horseback riding class and some real fun stuff. That last quarter was a lot of fun. Met some wonderful people there. Still have good contact with a couple of my roommates. After that first year, I went teaching in Farron, Utah. Taught 5th grade. And Farron, Utah is about 40 miles south of Price. It's a couple of hours drive from my home. Went home nearly every weekend because there was nothing to do in Farron. Nothing. There were 2 young men, available age, dating age, and they dated the other 2 girls in town, young teachers. And I was left out. So I felt really oddball party. But I remember my first paycheck, I bought my first cassette tape recorder. It cost me $50 and it was about yay big. It felt like a treat. I made something like $350 in a month.
It's a lot of money.
It was a lot of money. I hadn't had any before, much. So then after that year, Darla got married, and I think her name was Riva. She left, and I went back home and spent the next couple of years. I went back to school at the Y for a semester. They were on semester systems then, and used up all the money I'd saved, and then I just sat home. And Mother tried to get me out doing things, and I wasn't going to do it. And she just thought I was just sitting there doing vegetating because I wasn't working. Finally, that was the rest of that next year, which was 70. Well, I taught in 69, 70, so it was 70, 71. And so that fall of 71, I decided I was going to do something besides sit there. And I had my applications in the Alpine District and around in the different districts, and I decided I would take anything they gave me, but I would also go and apply for other places. So I started working at the Purple Turtle, and I worked at Smith Brothers Market, and I had both those jobs, and I was working for $1.30 an hour. And then about mid-December, they hired me on to be teacher's aide in one of the schools there in Pleasant Grove at Valley View. So for the rest of that year, I worked with the 6th grade class as the teacher's aide. The next year, they needed a kindergarten teacher down at Central School after school started, and so they hired me to do that if I would also continue being a teacher's aide in the 4th grade class there. That was a big class, 36 kids. And so half the day I taught kindergarten, and half the day I worked as the aide. And because I was a class that had been formed after school and they'd pulled kids in from other classes to make this class, I only had 17 kids in my kindergarten class. It was wonderful. Had a great year with them. And then the next year, I transferred over to Siegel Lilly, and I taught Siegel Lilly until after Dad and I were married. And then after...
Was that all in Alpine School District?
That's all in Alpine School District. The other district was Emory County School District my first year. So I actually taught 6 years total. And the last year after we were married was the only year I taught full-time kindergarten. It was only half day before that. So it brings us up to when we got married. I was in a play that fall called Showboat that they just opened made the old movie theater into a play, stage play, a theater. And they've been putting on these fun presentations, and the people from our ward said, "Come and be an extra. It's fun. Come and be an extra." So I did. I thought that'd get me out of the house more too. So I did that, and then I finally decided I was old enough to go to the special interest dances, and they were the whole county. So we met over in Provo most of the time, and I went to them. That's where I met your dad. But and we danced that night on the 3rd of October, and Dad went home and wrote about me in his journal. Let me read it later.
3rd of October, 1775.
I'm really getting old. Getting older by the minute. Anyway, so then the play happened, and it went on for 3 or 4 weekends. I can't remember how many weekends it did. So he didn't see me come back to the dances, so he thought it was gone. And then he came when I got a chance to go
I
back
was
to the
dancing
dance.
with some girl that had three twin triplets or something.
No, they just were kids.
She had 3 little kids.
They weren't very little. They were teenagers. Anyway.
I'm glad I didn't tie up
But
with that mess.
But he came back, and that night that we got together again was clear till December before we got back together. I mean, there were snowstorms that kept us from going. It was just a crazy mess. But that night I was sitting there. I didn't see him. I walked in, he wasn't around, and I started talking to this girl there. We were both sitting there on the sidelines, and she says, "Well," I says, "I've been kind of looking," because I was looking around. She says, "What are you looking for?" I said, "Well, I'm kind of looking around for this guy I was dancing with the last time I came." And she goes, "I am too. He's not here tonight." And I says, "No, he's not here tonight." So we were both looking. And then Jim walks in. Or she'd gone somewhere. I don't know where she was. She was sitting right next to me. But anyway, Jim walks in, and apparently he was the same guy she was looking for, too. But he came over and asked me to dance. Rescued me from this guy that was dancing with me. I'd had this... He's
kind of a weird guy.
He was a weird guy, okay? I don't know if he had mental problems or something, but he had asked me to dance, and I was dancing with him, and Dad came over and rescued me from him because he didn't want to do the polka, so Jim came and asked me to do the polka with him. So our first dance was the polka. So that's how we met. The other thing about Dad, though, is when I first met him on that October day, I thought, that guy dresses just like my dad. Because in those days, men were wearing skin-tight pants, nothing in the pockets, just...
These flowery, tight shirts and stuff, too.
Yeah.
Right?
And Dad just dressed like the 40s.
Yeah, like Tom Jones. They dress up like Tom Jones in them days.
Anyway, so that was my first thought of Dad.
I dressed like...
But his pockets were full of stuff, and
I
acted just like my dad. I don't know if that was what attracted me to you or not, but...
I dressed like Frank Sinatra. Baggy pants and stuff.
I did. Anyway, so then we met at the dances and started going to the dances.
Yeah.
He asked me to go out with him the next night, which was my birthday. But it was also his roommate's birthday. So we went to the roommate's surprise party. We all got there early and surprised him when he came home. And when we went out to eat, I can't remember where we went to eat, but then we went to the movie, and it was the other side of the mountain, which was about the skiing, and the girl that was crippled skiing at Alta. And anyway, then we went back to their apartment.
She got me going snow skiing.
Yep.
I had only gone twice before. Once with Dave Freed. And it might have been only once before with Dave Freed. I found out that I didn't like going snow skiing.
Well, he went cross-country skiing with Dave Freed.
Oh yeah, I tried that once too. We skied once up at Mount Rainier just to try out. The first time I'd ever gone snow skiing with Dave Freed. I rented some skis or something. I was probably already back from the Navy, and before I met her, before I went to BYU, I was still working at the shipyard, And one time I went with Dave Freet. And once again, Dave wanted to go on a cross-country snow adventure with skis. And I had got my pack all done up, and it was in March, up off of White Pass. And we drove up there in my new car, and it is a '66 Marlin, stupid Marlin, Rambler Marlin. And I got up there, and Dave Freet and I, we took off in the afternoon, and first thing we did was get on a chairlift. I'd never been on a chairlift before. He says, "Oh, you can do it. Just when the chair comes, you just sit back," and I almost fell out. So okay, fine. Hey, this is all right. I can do that. Looking down with the skis hanging down, and he says, "Now, you got your pack? Carry your pack." I was carrying my pack on my lap. He says, "Just carry what you get off, slide down a little bit, put your pack on, and you can go. You got climbers on your skis and all that stuff." And I come to the top, and it kicked me off, and I went poof, right in my face, first time, right on my pack.
That was just about what I did.
And so I got up from there, and I kept falling over. And so all that afternoon, I was trying to go this way up a hill, trying to go this way. I was trying every which way to get up this hill. When you come to a hill to go down, I'd start down, I'd fall this way, fall that way. I was totally soaked. We got to the top of this ridge, and then Dave, he skis down like this, wee, wee, wee. And I started down, and I went, boom. It was fluffy snow. I went clear up to here, and he says, "Okay, I think we'll stop and make camp." And so we sat down, and I was like this the whole time. I says, "I can't take this." We go back to the car. So we went hike back to the car. It was in March, so sunset was probably around 6 o'clock. We were up there at 4 by the time we got up to that spot. I got back down to the car, it was almost dark. I put the skis in. I said, I'm never going to do it again. I married your mother. She got me not only going skiing for one season, 8 times. Even though I fell on my face, I did it for her. She got me riding horses, of all things. I wanted a horse. Ever since I was a little kid, I want a horse. I want a horse. And here I married a woman that had horses. So, went on, rode a horse. And first thing I did, when I got on this horse, the horse went that way, I went that way. Fell off. So, and then, after we got married, I had to train this horse.
That was because I was pregnant. I couldn't fall off.
And I was trying.
He was just
and I was trying to train a horse for the next, 18 years. So
We didn't have
I helped raise horses. Finally, we moved to Utah, got rid of horses, and haven't had to worry about it since. Okay.
You didn't have to ride him all the time.
Didn't have to ride them.
Took you 18 years to train a horse?
No. The training part was that he didn't know the difference between bucking and loping. I mean, it felt the same to him. So if the horse started going faster, he didn't know.
I hit this fence post right on here, crunk.
You didn't hit the post, did you?
Oh. I thought that's what the horse threw me off, and I hit the post.
Broke,
Sternum.
split his sternum.
Look, it didn't break it. It loosened it up from the rib cage. That's what the doctor said. It took a couple months to get back into shape again.
Like any broken bone does.
Things happen, huh?
Yeah. The snow skiing we did, that first winter, during Christmas break, I'd had a Christmas tree in my room at school. And I had done it so that it was decorated for little children, and I had done it with pieces of fabric that were little kids that I had glued onto cardboard and cut out. and then hung him up. And so when I found out that Jim was staying in Utah, not going home for Christmas, I felt sorry for him because all his roommates were leaving him and stuff. So I took the tree over and stuck it outside his door because I knew he worked late. So anyway, he came home from the tree in his yard in his doorway, and he thought that was pretty cool. So then we went, he came over on Christmas Day, and Aunt Jenny just really didn't want him to be there. So we stayed in our side of the house and didn't go in with the family. That's when I learned how to play cribbage. And 2 people games. And then we went skiing, I think the day after Christmas. We rented stuff from BYU for him. I had learned to ski the year before.
I think I went and purchased from somebody, had some skis for me and boots. The boots didn't fit. They were...
I think you rented them the first time.
Did I?
BYU.
Well, I got some somewhere. I got boots and skis, secondhand skis, boots that didn't fit, but they weren't that terrible.
The thing is, he thought he had to press me by going straight down the hill because I could ski faster than him, right? And I never did that. You know, you traverse the hills back and forth like this. Well, we went to Brighton that day.
Yeah.
And he would get going, and then he'd get started straight down the hill, and he'd go straight to the hill and boom at the bottom all day long.
Well, we went several times, I think.
We went 2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times anyway. I don't know if it was 8 times. It was 8 weeks.
But I had just learned how to
By the
ski
time
myself the year before.
We started in January. It was probably the end of February when we were up to Sundance, and it was the last time. It was getting started. It was the end of February.
Sundance is lower down in the
And
mountains.
it was getting kind of
So it gets
icy.
It gets sloppier whether it melts.
I was getting pretty good at the skis too. I was proud of myself. I'd only fall down a couple of times when we went out. So I went up. I was coming down, and this pack of ice, slick part of the ice, coming down Sundance over there, twisted my ankle, and that fixed me for the rest of that season. Next year came along. We were not in Utah anymore.
We were in Utah
Yeah, were we?
that first year. That's right, we were. But I got pregnant, and then I had a miscarriage, and then I got pregnant again, so we didn't go skiing. Oh, and they didn't have snow. They didn't have snow till after Christmas. that year.
Oh, okay. I didn't go. I didn't go back skiing again. I
Yeah.
don't think.
And then I don't think I've been skiing since either.
Because I only went with her. If she was pregnant and not able to get out, then I didn't go with her. I didn't go.
Anyway.
So, then I met her family.
And Jenny accepted him after a while,
That's good.
but it took a while.
So tell me about places you've lived. You got married and lived where?
He started out living in Orem, lived there for a year. Well,
800
he
North.
was finishing school, and I was
50
teaching
West and
school.
800 North was the address in Orem.
And
It was an apartment. New apartments at the time.
yep. Later on, when Alton got married, that's where they lived. It was in those same apartments. So it was kind of fun. But by that time, they were run down and old. Anyway, but they were nice when we lived there. 2-bedroom apartment, unfurnished. So we got furniture from different places. Don't know where we got the table and chairs, but we got Aunt Jenny let us take her old couch, and Kay let us have their old iron bed. It's the only time we've ever had a bed frame, besides just the little things you can get. And we just made it do with what
So
we
I
had.
graduated from school.
I think we got a
college.
card table and chairs.
She graduated, and she was, well, she was working, and
I took a class. I took a children's literature class that
yeah,
year too.
she did.
Yeah, you had to take 6 hours of, quarter hours of training every 5 years to keep your certificate in Utah. So I.
Is that still the case?
Uh-huh.
Is that still the case?
Yes.
So I figured we needed to get work, and it wasn't my primary intent, But we started off in Utah. I was looking for a job in electronics since I graduated from as a tech writer. That wasn't the exact name of the course. It was just bachelor's degree. It was the three-way course was called
University Studies.
Yeah, University Studies. So I graduated, and we went up to see my folks that summer. And
But you went by way of Lewiston, Idaho.
Lewiston, Idaho, yeah. We were looking for work.
Applying different places.
I thought that the best place to get work at the time was in the Seattle area, because they were more high-tech area. It was Boeing and...
It was before Microsoft.
Yeah, I guess it was before Microsoft.
Long time.
But they had Boeing there, and Nintendo. I don't know if it was... Nintendo didn't start that?
No, they were from Japan. They were over there.
Well, I thought that that would be the best place anyway, because there's a lot of supportive stuff for Boeing around there in electronics. So I applied for a few places, including Boeing. And we came back.
You got hired on.
Yeah, while I was there. While we were there, it was time to come back and get her back to school. But we got hired on at LDEC up there at $5 an hour.
He made $11,000 his first year. That's what I had made my last year teaching, and I didn't have to work summers to do it. So he made less than I did, but not really. Anyway,
So we decided to move up there. We got rid of our apartment in Orem. We loaded everything on that Rambler we had. It wasn't that old stupid Rambler. It was a Rambler station wagon, 1970.
we had the moving company, paid a moving company to move us. It's the only time we did that.
We had a moving
Because
company.
you paid by the weight. We weighed everything, putting it on there. He says, well, we don't weigh in between each person. They estimate how much you're going to have and just do it. So we decided that was not what we'd do ever again. So it cost us double what we thought.
Yeah. So we put some stuff in the car and moving company, and we came up to stay with my folks on Whidbey Island for about a month. Well,
we were in the cabin.
yeah, we were in the bunkhouse for about a month while we were looking for apartments over on the mainland. We discovered an apartment
You know
in
what?
Linwood.
We weren't there that long.
We were there
Because
a week then?
Because when our furniture
Oh.
came, it came straight to there.
Okay, then we were only
I
there.
think we must have
Yeah,
found
that's
an
right. We
apartment
were only
before we
there.
left to go back
I only
home.
commuted across the ferry that time for a week. So in '77, July 20th or something like that, I started working for LDEC. And
Was that a contract company working for Boeing?
yeah, it was just electronic.
It's a separate company.
It's a separate
It's not
company.
part of Boeing. It's right over there where Jacob
Yeah.
worked
And so we
before they moved.
got a job with LDEC, and we lived there at on 200 South in Linwood, right over, not too far from where Fred Meyer is in Linwood,
About a mile.
about a mile.
Yeah, and I was very pregnant. He made me walk to Fred Meyer and back.
And our first baby,
8
Kyle,
months pregnant.
was born in December of that year, while we were living in that apartment. And he was born over at the Edmonds Hospital in Edmonds, which is just, Edmonds is right next to Linwood.
We walked over to the birthing classes too.
Yeah. Birthing classes were at
He wanted me to have
Richmond
exercise.
College. So that was our first home after
In second home.
our second home. That was our second home. We were in that apartment until
We were contracted for at least 6 months. And then after that, you could rent it by the month. And
So
I
at
think
the
we
end
were
of
there.
6 months,
We moved out of there in the end of
at
February.
the 1st of February,
1st of February?
we moved,
Yeah.
it was the 1st of February, we moved out of there into the bunkhouse at
No.
oh, it's
We
that,
went into Edgecliff Drive.
yeah, that's right. We rented a home. And on Edgecliff Drive in Langley, you know where Langley is? We rented a house there.
You know,
And
Edgecliff
that's
Drive
where
is too.
we're raising Kyle as a little baby. And we were supposed to be in that house for indefinite period. Well, in May, they kicked us out.
No,
because-
they didn't kick us out. They started showing the house to people to buy it because they were getting ready to buy.
So we moved out of there into the bunkhouse over on my folks' place in May. Yeah,
I never knew that. So you lived in Langley for 6 months,
yeah, for not
From
6
February
months,
to
2
May.
months,
February.
3 or 4 months.
4 months, 3 or 4 months, February to May. Then we moved over to the bunkhouse in May, and we were there until we moved into our trailer.
It took us till September, the end of September,
Okay,
to
yeah.
get, because we had to drill the well and I had to put the septic in and all of that, the
So we had
foundation,
our
and then
house-
we bought a mobile home. to put on.
And we planned it
That
so
was $8,000
our
for
mobile
our
home
first
was
mobile
not
home.
up in the back of the lot.
And it was a
We
14
had-
by 60.
We had planned on building a house, but we didn't afford a house just yet.
Salary wasn't enough.
That was my salary. So we thought we'd get a mobile home, which was $96,000. $9,600.
No, it was
Yeah.
only 8,000.
What was it?
Maybe you're thinking 9,600 with everything included. The
Yeah,
drilling
because
of the
then we
well.
had to pay, it
and
was
the
4,000
foundation.
for the well and the septic system getting put in.
Yeah.
So that's what we had to take our loan for.
We took a $5,000 loan out.
We took
I
more
remember
than
that. My mother.
Oh, for
loaned us
the
money.
well and stuff.
Yeah. We paid that back. But then we lived in the mobile home from February of
No, September
September of
78.
78 until just after Sarah was born.
No, it was in September again, I think we moved. August, okay, yeah, it's September. I think we moved into a house.
Of 83.
September
Of 83.
of 82?
83.
83, okay. September 83. So it was that long in that trailer. We sold the trailer for like $4,000 or something. They moved it out. They took it for that money.
Gable Lines bought it from us.
Yeah, Gable Lines. So,
But we've made it, when we did the septic tank so that the house could use the same septic system and the same water from the well. Just had to do pipes
so
different.
because we wanted,
So
so we
everything-
built the house in behind the trailer.
In front of the trailer.
Depends on the perspective.
Depends
Closer to the
on-
Closer
road.
to the road is in front of.
Okay.
That's how normal people think of it.
Okay. That's been our home until
Yeah.
1996 when we left. And we rented our home out to Eula and other people. Eventually Rod rented that home out. For the last 2 years it was rented until we moved back into it in December of 2001. That's when we moved back in December of 2001. We were out from 96,
May,
spring of 96,
June.
June of 96 until December of 2001. That's when we were not living in that home. We moved down into live with her sister in American Fork for a little while. We also, well, some of us lived with, a couple of you kids lived with Joanne and Alan, while we lived with her sister.
I think the kids
Kay.
lived in
David and I lived with
Kay.
Aunt
We
Kay.
lived with Joanne.
Oh, okay.
We lived with, me and Sarah and Jacob lived with Kay until you guys came. and then we switched and went to Joanne's and left the boys there. Then we were trying to sell our property so we could buy a house.
So
And
she sold this property, her mom's
Our
property.
farm,
Her mom had passed away in the early 60s.
93.
93. So,
Is it getting too late? Early 60s?
Something like that.
anyway,
We've been talking for an hour. How long's your tape?
you're running out of batteries.
Oh, anyway.
I have lots of battery left.
This is posterity. Hi, Ella. Hi, Alex. This is for you, too. This is... Alex will be walking around like this. Who's that old guy?
He's not either. He's not either.
Alex will be old with
Okay.
grandchildren by the time he
So,
sees this.
stop. He wants to ask you another question.
Okay. Anyway, that was our home. Then we bought a house up in Pleasant Grove, up on the hill, with the money she got from her mom's property. But she still had 3 lots down there on the property. David went on mission. Anton went on mission.
Anthony didn't go to mission until I moved down on the property and the house.
Yeah, but we had to sell off 2 of the lots for supporting people on missions. We still had
We
one
didn't
lot
support
left.
Anton very much. The ward did.
Yeah, the ward. Then we still had
We had to just live.
1 lot left down there, and we didn't have. We were in quite a bit of debt because
We
of
should
that.
have sold the lot and kept the house, but we didn't. Hindsight.
What we should have done was kept that property. Sold the property and paid off our property on the island, and then kept the house up on the hill. Because if we'd have sold off those 3 lots at the time and invested that in our property on the island, we could have taken, it would have paid it off, actually. We would have paid it off,
Well, but
pretty much.
hindsight, don't worry about what we haven't done,
And then
because
we
that's just
paid
going to
that
make you
off.
worry more about
Yeah.
it. You know what he was worrying about the other night? They couldn't sleep? The fish.
Yes,
Sarah's
Sarah
fish.
got fish. Can you imagine that?
Don't worry about it.
Tell me about the fish, Dad.
You know.
Tell me about the fish.
Sarah got help from the ward this Christmas, just a couple weeks ago, a month ago.
Okay.
She got
A
ward
week ago.
a week ago, whatever. She got help from the ward
Gave
to
him a gift
buy
certificate.
food and clothes. You know what she did with that? She went out and bought goldfish and a fish
An
tank,
aquarium.
aquarium.
Anyway.
Not even,
Okay.
she didn't even pay off. She owes us a X amount of money.
It's okay, Dad. It's their fun Christmas thing, I guess.
Oh, well. Okay.
Sarah
Well-
owes us big time for later on.
Sarah owes us money that she never pays.
She's going to
back.
take care of us till we die. Told her she better not ever put us in a nursing home. Anyway,
Well,
So,
that was our next home was up on a hill. Then we built the house,
modular home down.
modular home down
On
in
the property.
down at the property,
And then
and we
moved
lived
out.
there for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
We lived there for 2 years,
So Sarah
and,
graduated from high school.
and I moved up to the island because I
Jacob
got
was
a
having problems.
Jacob had a problem, and I just came back up to the island and got a job. What was that? Oh, I was working for Fred Meyer while in Utah,
got transferred.
and I got him to transfer me up to Fred Meyer in Linwood. So I was working it there, as well as I got a job. What else I do when I came up here?
Paper? So when you drove that paper truck?
Yeah, I got 3 different kind of jobs. Working
mail,
in Linwood.
mail truck.
I was driving the mail
Oh, yeah,
truck.
the mail truck.
And I got a job working at Island Athletics.
Well, the Island Athletics was later.
Oh, I was in sometime in there.
You weren't working at the mail truck when you...
Well, at either rate, you moved back up to
So I moved
the
back
property
up
separately to
prior
the
to
island.
that.
Yes, he came back
He
in
came with
February,
Jacob.
just in
February
time,
with Jacob.
just after they'd had their big earthquake.
And you were on a mission. David was going to school somewhere. He was going to, where was he in school? He was gone.
He was still on his
Jacob
mission.
was with
No,
us.
He was on his mission. You came back for when he came off from his mission in April.
Okay. And Jacob was with us. And
Jacob went with you.
he was here with me. And then Mom and Sarah came up and all.
He wasn't in Florida.
Huh?
You said he was here.
Oh, I meant up in Washington. And Jacob was, okay, Sarah and Mom.
So you were living in a trailer on your property.
Yeah.
We rented one from a guy by the name of Baser, not Baser. Guy that starts with
Bryant.
a B. Bryant.
I have to stop
Lee
and think
Bryant.
of her wife.
Lee Bryant.
Wife's name
And
every
then,
time.
and then brother and sister, the other lady gave us a trailer too. That's what's
My
in it.
sister Bruno.
Bruno gave
When
us.
Sarah moved up, and we needed more
Bruno's
space.
husband died, so they got a new motorhome. That's it. And so
She wanted to get rid of the
she wanted to get rid of this trailer. It was a comfortable trailer.
and they did it before. That was before.
It didn't leak, so
Before he died.
yeah. So Sarah stayed in that, and Mom and I stayed in the other trailer. No, Jacob and I stayed in the other trailer. Mom and Sarah in the little
Sarah
trailer.
mainly stayed alone. When Dad was working nights, I had to go sleep with Sarah. Sometimes it was a more comfortable bed.
So that's it. We moved into those
But it didn't
trailers.
have a bathroom in it. And mine did. So.
And finally, the house we're back into now is we moved back in in December of 2001, because that's when
The term was up.
the term was up for rentals,
Rod and Sandy.
renters. My cousin Rod Taylor and his wife, they were using it for an old folks family home. Retirement home. And we finally was able to get it back from them. We repainted the inside. We moved in our stuff, and we gave Lee Bryant back his trailer. We kept the other one
Actually, he
for
lived there
storage.
for a while.
Yeah, it was there for a while, but Bryant got his trailer back. And we've been in the house ever since.
Okay.
The last question he asked us was
I know.
how our homes, where we lived.
And you
That's
told him
where we
all
lived.
about it.
Yep.
That's right.
So what else do you guys want to say about you?
Oh dear.
How about Mom? What do you want to say?
to hear about?
Focus on Mom.
Yeah, you didn't ask me about my early life. Dad told you all about his. I lived on a farm in Pleasant Grove, family farm that had been in the family since 1873. My grandfather traded a mine for it, my great-grandfather. And later on that mine, they took $1 million of gold out, or silver out of it. So he said that this was $1 million farm, but it didn't prove to be $1 million farm until we sold it as kids. And we each got about $200,000 for our share. So it turned out to be the $1 million. And it took a long time. Anyway, I fell in love with horses from the time I was old enough to breathe, and we always had horses around. They used to run the farm with horses till I was pretty big. I can remember riding the horses when they were loading hay in the barn, and I'd be on the horse that pulled the fork up, and then they'd swing it along the board, the railing, and drop it on the loft, and then take it back out, and then the horse would back up, and I got to ride the horse. Maybe, and knowing what my kids were like, I was probably stuck there to keep from being under the horse's feet, because I would have been. But when I was 9 years old, my horse was born, that I rode, a riding horse. And
Star? Diamond.
Diamond. Yep. And she was my horse, she was my buddy. We grew up together. And I did everything on my horse when I was a kid. I'd get up, in the summertime I'd get up and get on the horse and ride around all day. I helped Dad would move the cows with the horse, and I pretend like I was going on the wagon train, and I'd do the horse cow master and chase them down, and I'd ride all through the fields. So that was my deal.
So did your dad have another job, or was the farm the sole income?
Well, he was, he tried to make it go with the farm, but it kept getting worse and worse, and so finally he went to work at Geneva Steel. I don't know how old I was when he did that, because I can't remember him not being at Geneva Steel, which was in west part of Orem, down by the lake, which is now closed. And anyway, he worked there in the foundry, and worked there full time. And he would sometimes trade off his day shifts for swing shifts so I could get farm work done. So I ran 40 acres of farmland, had several dairy cows, 20 to 30 head of milking cows, registered stock, and several heifers every year. And some of the heifers he'd take over to Lehigh to pasture during the summertime in some of the bottomlands there by the lake. And
Did you load them up on a truck, or would you help him herd them?
no, we would load them on
Like
the
a
truck
cow
to
drive.
carry them about 10 miles. But I sometimes took the horse over to help him get back in the truck. I don't know if I did that or not, because we didn't have a horse trailer, so getting the horse on and off the truck was not easy. Anyway, then what did we do? In 1959, they came in one day when I was home and Dad and Mom were not, and they told me to tell my dad that they had degraded his dairy from an A-grade dairy to a C grade dairy, because they were supposed to be building, getting out of the old barn, because that was so old it was not. They didn't think it was clean enough. So that really made them mad, because you get a lot less money, because C-grade milk goes to making cheese and stuff like that instead of selling for milk, first-grade milk, and the cream. So they were quite upset, but in the meantime they had been building the barn. Cost them $15,000 to build the barn and put the equipment in it up on the other end of the farm, because they were always going to have a house up there. But they never got the house, they got the barn. But they soon got back up on A-grade dairy milking again. Then my dad got Hodgkin's disease and was sick. We only knew what he had for 16 months before he passed away. He was only 56 when he died. But he went to work at Geneva Steel clear until 3 weeks before he died. And he was so sick he could hardly hold his head up. But he says, how can I support my family if I can't work? So that was his philosophy. Mother didn't want to look at the cows again after Dad died, so as soon as she could, she sold them. And the neighbors that were farmers also helped her find buyers for the dairy and all the equipment. So that was all gone. And when Joanne had built her house, it was a little bit after Dad died that she built her house. She built her house up there where Mom and Dad had thought their house would be. So that's where Joanne's living now. When we divided property, she got the property that was next to the house, her house. So that was logical.
So the new barn that was made, where was that?
That's
Is
the
that
barn
still there?
behind Joanne's house.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of fallen
That
apart.
they use as a shed.
They use it
there.
as a shed. Yeah. So that was when that was done. 69? 59. Yeah, 59 to 60, that's when they built that barn. Let's see. I was always a kid that liked to be outside instead of inside. A lot rather go help Dad with the chores outside and feeding the cows and that kind of stuff than stay in the house and sweep the floors and do the dishes and that kind of stuff. Maybe that's why I put off doing the dishes so long now. Let Jim do it when I can let him do it. Guess that's about it.
So what are your aspirations?
Our aspirations?
Yes. What
Are
are
you
your-
still focused on me?
Oh, no.
I'm focusing on both of you now.
What are our aspirations, Dad?
Aspirations?
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
You're going to write your life story.
That's, that's, David, your brother, has been after me for a long time now. I don't know, maybe months, maybe years, to write my memoirs. I was going to wait until I retired because I'm so busy all the time that I...
Can I tell you this?
What?
You're always going to be busy because that's your personality. You
My
got to
aspiration-
stop and do that.
My aspiration is to write my memoirs, write the life story, and put it in organize my stories, organize my memoirs, and put them into adventures. You know, like I've got something this thick at home right now, with bits and pieces of this memoir that I'm putting together. But I just can't seem to sit down long enough to organize it because it seems to me I got to think for an hour before I come up with get the like an old train, get the wheels rolling, and then by the time that happens, it's off to work or it's off doing something else. So I got to wash dishes. I got to do it.
We've told him that the dishes are no longer his chore. They've gone to the rest of us.
Her daughter has moved in with us now. And so
My
I-
daughter? Is she yours?
Your sister has moved in with us, and I've got a responsibility
It's
now
not your responsibility.
to
It's
take care
theirs.
of them.
No, it's theirs.
He asked us what our aspirations were.
To get Sarah moved into her own house?
Get Sarah, right? That's one. Get Sarah moved into her own house. Get off where we can be at empty nesters again. We were
To
for
get
a while.
retired.
Get
He's going to
retired.
retire. Ambition is also to go to Jacob's wedding in May.
It is.
Yep.
Well, one aspiration and ambition, I guess, is to go to New Zealand to see Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be that soon.
That's got to be that soon.
It's hard to think of it as being that soon already.
Yep.
I don't know what we're going to sell off to do it. Unless we get,
We won't sell anything
unless
off.
we
We'll
get
just,
Sarah to pay
we'll
us back.
just be indebted forever.
Yeah.
What Sarah owes us isn't going to be enough to pay us. to
That'll be
go.
enough to get us there.
No, to get us there. Yep. Then we can just live with Jacob forever, right?
Halfway back. Well, I don't know.
I think we're going to
I
make a
think
whole
she's-
round trip.
Besides the rent she owes us, she owes
She's
us
not going to
something
have
for a
enough
car.
money by then to pay it back to us.
Oh dear.
I believe.
Let's go back to aspirations.
Okay.
So write your memoirs. What about you, Mom? You gonna write your memoirs?
Hadn't thought about it. I started writing it once and lost it. And I got really excited about doing it. And I was just, you know, how things hit you sometimes when you think, oh, this is an inspiration. I've just got to do it. I've got to do it. I'm just compelled to do it. I've had that happen 2 or 3 times.
She's not a
And-
writer,
Thanks.
but she could be.
Anyway, I lost it. I don't know where it got put. Somebody put it away. It's just
I
in
don't
one
know
of
where it
those-
is or where some of it is. She has a big box, big plastic box, like this, full of her genealogy.
Is
Her
it in my
stories in there.
genealogy?
Her story's in there. So is the stuff on
Find
her.
it. Get
Uh,
writing
so
on
Now
it.
everyone will know what you did not know.
Information,
Where it's
Dad
located.
puts things away, and I never can find them again.
all her information, genealogy on her Swedish ancestry, all her Swedish books and all that, photos of her ancestors, all that stuff.
I guess my ambition would be to make sure we get the property paid off.
Oh, that's a good ambition.
Hmm.
Do you have
Get
a
the property.
plan of how to
Hopefully.
do that?
Hopefully before we're dead, but I'm not sure.
Get that property. I had an ambition of hiking the Pacific Crest Trail. I started once, and I got sick that time.
And then you decided to ride across the country on your bicycle the next year.
And then the next year I rode across country on my bicycle. That's one aspiration that I did fulfill.
And you helped raise $250,000 for the American Lung Association.
Yeah. Actually, it was
Then you got sick.
it's almost 300,000. And
I guess my ambition is to survive till I'm old enough to retire. Enjoy it.
And this is January. I plan on retiring in 3 months. February, March, April. Middle of April.
Yep, that's spring break.
That's my ambition right now. Short-term ambition. Long-term ambition is my memoirs. Real long-term ambition is take another bike ride, a long bike ride, like up to Alaska, or hike.
But you got to do that with somebody of your family that can go with you at the time.
I've never had an ambition to go to the moon, be an astronaut,
No.
be an explorer and go up to the North Pole. Can't stand the cold weather. It's been cold
So you
around
came to
here.
Florida to get warm.
Yeah.
And it's been freezing.
And let's see what
I
else?
guess to see our grandkids.
Alex and Junior and Ella
And Cindy
Cindy
and James.
and James all grow
Our
up.
little new girl.
A new little girl. Oh, he's focusing on me. Hi, Anton. Hi.
So tell me, what's been your favorite part about being here in Florida?
Seeing you. I've enjoyed
Seeing-
going on those little rides down the trail, even though it was freezing cold today.
Bike rides?
Little bike rides we took along the trail. I liked that. That was one of my favorites. To see the historical sites, that was fun. Down there at Fort, whatever that fort is we went to see.
Baracus.
Baracus, yeah. That was interesting.
What about you?
Oh, I most important thing, and the reason we come is to visit with you and your family and children. Get to know them, let them get to know us a little bit. And then to see the country, to see a new part of the country I've never been to before, and learn about a little of the
Neither one of
history
us
the
have
area.
been in the South before. We had never been to, we were going to go to North Carolina earlier this year, or last year, but never made it.
Yeah, that's what we were doing in
Because
April
I
last year.
got cancer. But cancer's, I wouldn't say it's in remission now, it's just in abeyance.
Well,
It's
you're
in-
still getting treatments for it,
Yeah.
and we'll find out this next month how
Yeah, we'll
it's
find
doing.
out. 3 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks,
Yep,
how
we'll
things
see.
Oh,
will turn out.
So you're going to have a scan and a CAT scan and
It's the
PET
body.
scan.
It's the body scan.
They'll give us a
PET
CAT scan. That's the
PET
body.
scan.
See if the lung cancer has advanced or retreated or stayed the same. We'll see.
I feel bad he didn't bring his Monavita drink while he was here.
I've
Yes,
had it.
that's-
Shh, don't tell her. I've had one every night, every morning.
Good. You had him in your back?
I saw him in a suitcase.
Smart. You told me you didn't bring him.
That was so you would think I was not taking care of myself.
I'm glad you're taking care of yourself. Because when the
And I
cancer
got
grew in
grape
the
juice
summer,
in
he
the
was not on
refrigerator
it.
now too. Huh?
I said, when we are not on him in the summertime is when the cancer grew in your lung.
Oh,
So we'll see what it does, if it helps or not.
We're hoping that it will do something. Because it had stopped it from, well, they don't say that that's what did it, but,
yeah.
so many people that know about naturopaths that cure things through herbs and stuff like that.
So neither one of us
They
have
should do
been in the South before. Now we've been to Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida.
Yep.
4 of the states.
4 new states we can add to our
Yeah.
places we've been.
Repertoire.
We ought to go through and see which states we've both been in,
Yeah.
or which states.
I've been in places she hasn't, like up in the Northeast, like.
You went to Boston, which
Went
is
to Boston,
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts,
I
and
haven't
New Hampshire,
been there. I haven't been
and,
there.
and
Connecticut,
Connecticut and Rhode Island,
Rhode
and
Island,
the Navy.
and then Maine. Did you get to Maine?
No.
So neither one.
Betty
of us
said,
Maine.
Betty told, my sister Betty came down with us, she told us that she'd been to every state now in the U.S. except Maine.
I've been to Maine.
Maine's where Aunt Pam and Uncle Phil lived. I mean, they were at Fort.
I've never been to Vermont.
They were in Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana, most of the time. But then they bought a farm ranch up on Maine.
I went to New Hampshire where this lady, a friend of mine, my sister's, lived. Her mother knew my mother. They were friends way back anyway. Yeah, I lived in New Hampshire, New Hampshire, Manchester, when I was in the Navy. She was she had young children at that time when I went to see her up there. Actually, she was, well, I can tell you how they're related to. She's related to Iola in a certain way. Roy's family. She's related to Roy's family. But anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about states we've been in. No, that's not.
No, what we liked most about being here.
Here in Florida.
Talking about anything.
Yeah.
Yep, we're wandering around a lot.
Yep.
But that's okay. That gets you to know our personalities more. Kind of.
And some of the greatest adventures that I have done that I liked was right across the country. I think even more than that. I think even more than riding across the country on the bicycle, although that was a great adventure and something that one of the things that I really enjoyed has been the times I've been doing things with the kids, riding to Utah with Anton. 2 times I rode to Utah with Anton. The time I took the kids up to Victoria, and we went camping that time in different places and visited Victoria. I enjoyed the time that just a year and a half or a couple of years ago, was it, that when James was little and we went with Sarah and Mom, Sarah and Mom went with James, we went up to Victoria for a time.
Just a couple of days.
For a couple of days. Taking trips along the Oregon coast with you guys was fun.
Mm-hmm.
The time we went to
I really enjoyed our trip. We went to Monterey.
Monterey, yeah.
It was a trip just to us. It's one of the few trips we've taken just of us going down
And seeing you in the Navy down there.
and seeing that area in that country. Been in California before and probably in that area sometime, but
And meeting my fiance.
meeting your fiancé that time. And realizing that if we just drove on to Utah and stayed there, we'd be there when you got married. I think Dad went home, didn't you?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I think you flew home.
Then I
and
flew back.
You rode the bus home. You
Oh.
flew back. She got a better flight coming back. And we drove home.
What
Sarah,
times have you really enjoyed in your life? That you were just, like euphoria.
Our wedding day? Jim was on Cloud 9 that day. It was really funny. The photographer, when he came to take pictures of us, wanted us to have a serious face, a serious picture, to look more serious, and he couldn't get Jim to quit smiling.
It was fulfilling. Doing that, getting married in the temple was fulfilling one of the Lord's requirements. something
Well,
like
it's
that.
also was in both of our patriarchal blessings that we'd be married in the temple. And Dad's patriarchal blessing, which he got when he was married before, wasn't it? Weren't you still married when you got it?
Yeah,
Said that you'd take the wife of your choice.
yeah, wife of my choice to the temple. And
And
I'd
to let
have a
him know that
posterity.
something else was going to happen.
Posterity I'd enjoy. I have
And she
5
didn't-
posterity.
And she didn't want to have children.
And she didn't want to have children. She was negative to children. Although she had one out of marriage, she was negative to children because of the suffering she went through to have it, for one thing. She didn't want to do that again. And being shackled by children,
Very,
being
very
shackled
selfish person.
by a marriage, and although she was raised as a church member, she didn't have a testimony, and turned herself somewhere in the back of her mind. I think she knew she had a mistake, but she just couldn't never bring herself around to finalizing that yes, it was a mistake.
Yeah.
That she needed to correct herself. She never could do that. I don't think she ever did. So,
Oh, I don't think she's dead yet. She's still got a chance.
not a chance.
That brings me to one of my ambitions that I'd like to do someday. Go to the Calgary Stampede.
What's that?
It's a big rodeo in Calgary, Canada.
It happens
It's
over
like
Labor
several
Day
days.
weekend, doesn't it?
Several days long. They have things there that no other rodeo puts on.
Like what?
What do they call that stagecoach race?
Yeah,
Not
well,
stage, but
the-
chuck wagon race. That's what it is.
Chuck wagon race. They also race around on horses. Like
The
a
chuck
chariot
wagon
race.
was they had the chuck wagon with a driver and 2 horses. They have 4 outrider horsemen. The race starts when the chuck wagon is hitched, isn't it? The teams are hitched to the wagon.
I don't remember.
But the outriders don't even have saddles. The horses are tied, but they aren't saddled. They have to run over, saddle their horses, jump on them, and they're all lined up, 4 of them at a time, in the arena. They have to get them all set up, ride out of the arena and around the track that surrounds the arena. I don't know how many times. Just once? I don't know. And out around the arena, and they all have to get back, and then they have to unsaddle and be still in their place to win. And they're timed because they can only do 4 at a
She
time.
knows his rodeos like really well.
I've seen it on TV, and it's very dangerous
So where is it?
in Calgary,
Calgary,
Canada.
Where's
It's in
Calgary?
Alberta. Went through there once when I was.
It's a long ways away. It's over on the.
It's
It's in the middle.
it's about 100 miles north of where your cousin did his mission in
In
Lethbridge and Cardston. It's about 100 miles north of Cardston.
I've been to Cardston.
Northeast of Cardston, I think. And
Cardston's where the temple is in Canada.
I think it's western Alberta, so it's northwest of
It's a long ways away.
Cardston, I think,
Okay,
which
anyway.
is just above Montana. Anyway, yeah.
I'm having fun watching you talk.
And
Well, I've been doing it an hour and a half.
some of my most
1 hour and 28 minutes and
Your
47
wife's
seconds.
wondering where we are.
one of the most important things that's happened to me is when I've had my children and how blessed I am to have had them and had such little problem having them as I have. One of our biggest disappointments is that I had a miscarriage when we first got married, and we wanted children so bad. We were both older and wanted to have children, and I miscarried at 9 weeks, and I was very depressed. I was so depressed I gained 30 pounds between Halloween and Christmas because I ate everything I could find. That's how I dealt with my depression, which wasn't smart.
Yeah, you see a picture of her at Christmas time. She looks like a blimp.
Thanks.
Well, a picture I have of you when you were when we used to dance together in marriage and all that.
Yeah.
You looked like an
I
angel.
was about a size 16 when we got married. So that was, you know, sizes now don't mean anything. That was probably like a 12 now. Or something.
Because they keep changing the size.
Yeah. Sarah weighs the same I weighed when she graduated from high school, and she was a size 8, 6
No,
or 8.
she's also 2 or 3 or 4 inches taller than you
No,
were.
she's not. We measured. She's a half inch. No, we measured the same, didn't we?
I don't remember.
I think we measured the same. Anyway,
She's not?
but I weighed the same amount as she did when I graduated from high school. As she did. Me, I was always fat. She was always thin. It's a mindset. So I fulfilled the mindset that I'm always fat. I'm still fat. Gotta get my mindset back so that I can be skinny. That's a goal.
To lose weight
To lose a little bit of weight.
and get your blood sugar down
Yeah.
between 90 and
Control the
92.
blood sugar. Between 90 and what?
92.
If it's under 100, I'll feel happy.
Okay, one last thing. What do you want your great-grandchildren to know?
Her great-grandchildren?
Yeah. This right here is your great-grandchild. Say something to it.
Well,
I think that you need to follow your dreams
the gospel is true.
and follow the gospel.
Follow the gospel.
Okay, so Dad says follow the gospel, Mom says follow your dreams.
You
And they
can-
should be together. Your dreams should be involve the gospel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something.
The Lord has
Yeah,
We're put
follow
on
the
this,
counsel of the
Lord.
Lord.
we're put on this earth as the Lord has something for each one of us to do. Find out what that is and do it.
Yeah. And sometimes it comes in
Sometimes it comes.
ways you don't expect it to come.
Find out what it is the Lord wants you.
I was
Yeah.
really kind of depressed as a child because, not as a child, as a youth, as a young adult, because I wasn't finding Mr. Right, somebody that I could live my life with. And so I kept thinking, well, that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I had to discover that you had to be willing to live your life for you, not waiting for Mr. Right to come along before Mr. Right came along. Because without feeling that you're fulfilled, you're a well-rounded person, nobody's going to be interested in being with you. So that was something I had to discover.
For that little grandchildren you held up there, great-grandchild, I want to tell her that
Her?
My mother told me that when I was born, when I was a little baby, her mother came to her. See, my grandmother died a year before I was born. When I was a little baby in the bed, and my mother had me in the bed, her mother came to her in a vision or a dream, whatever. My mother claimed she saw her mother at the foot of her bed, real life, stand there and said, "You'll be blessed. You will have, you've been blessed with this child." And that it was that the child was there for a purpose, that you will, in other words, we're here for a purpose. And I was put here, I believe, and my mother was telling her that I was here for a purpose, to help be here, to go through the temple for her, to bring her, do her temple work, which we did. We did her temple work. And all of our family, all of our sisters, we did the temple work for them, and then we did the temple work for my family.
I think the reason that the grandma came was because Grandma Kleparek had waited. She had not wanted more children. She had had her 3 children really fast, and then or 4 children, and then she had waited and not wanted to have any more, and done things to stop having more. And then she came along and had Jim when she was 40, which was unheard of back then.
Yeah.
So
that's the reason.
I think this was a comfort from Grandma, great-grandma to Grandma, to let her know that this child was going to be special.
He just got a text message from his wife.
He's shaking his head no.
No?
No, it's something I should have got like 4 hours ago when I paid my phone bill.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, that's it. I like that theory too. But that's what happened. You can tell your great-grandchild that and there's a book.
And that the Spirit of the Lord will comfort you when you need it.
Okay,
I've had that
remember
experience, personal knowledge.
The
So.
spirits are real. There's a book that I read just soon after I joined the church called Life Everlasting. And it was written about the many instances of spirits coming back to people. Some people will claim that it's never happened to them, so you don't have those experiences. Well, you do. My mother saw it, and we felt that within us. I haven't had any great big vision come up to me and stand there and say that. But I know the gospel is true because that has happened. I know my mother doesn't lie. She never lied to me. And she told me that. She told me the truth. Okay?
I've had the experience of having the arm wrapped around myself when I was upset as a young teenager and crying as I said my prayers, and I just felt that arm wrap around me, and so much so I had to look up to see who was there because I hadn't heard anybody come in.
Somewhere in my journal,
So I know that I was comforted and probably by my grandmother.
she was probably that right.
She died
Somewhere in
that
my
house
journal,
that
I
lived
did
in.
have an experience of spiritual experience similar to that I wrote in there. I can't remember what it is now, but it's in my journals somewhere. Just recently too, maybe within the last 2 or 3 years.
What?
Time's up?
Time doesn't have to be up. It's been going for a long time. We got to get up early in the morning.
I know.
Okay, that's right. There you go.
One of the things that I don't know if I've told you about or not, but after we had the problems with Kyle and was so depressed and going back to the temple again, thinking that I'd lost him as part of our family forever. He was excommunicated and so forth. I had the experience in the temple, and as you're going through the veil, of having this overwhelming feeling come over me that told me that he was mine forever because he'd been sealed to us when we were married. And I know he's going to have to go through some repenting before things happen, and he'll have to pay for the things he's done. But he's still sealed to me. He's still part of my posterity, and I'll still have him in the hereafter. And it happened twice. It wasn't just once. It was 2 different times I came. And I know I start going through the veil and the ceremony that you say, and I stumbled over that and just stopped. I couldn't say anything. I was just so overwhelmed, and they were sitting here giving me cues to go on, and I know what I had to say, but I just couldn't. So emotional, being so touched with that that I couldn't go on. It really was overwhelming. That's one of the, you're one of the few people I've told that to.
Yeah, you tell it to him, and now everybody in the nation knows that he's him.
That's right. It's for our posterity to know that I have a testimony that this church is true, that what we've been taught all our lives is true, that there is a hereafter, that God does live, that he did send Jesus Christ to earth to take our sins upon him, and we can repent of them. And if I didn't feel like we could do that, I wouldn't feel like we could go back to Heavenly Father. So I believe that was very true. And I pray for my kids all the time, that they'll stay true, the ones that are, and the ones that aren't will come back. And that we can show them that we love them by supporting them in what we can.
You know what? He's right. We got to get up in the morning early. We're leaving for New Orleans tomorrow.
We've learned how to say New Orleans, that it's New Orleans.
Well, thank you.
Fellow used to see. He says, New Orleans, New Orleans.
Who says that?
New Orleans, Liddy.
Oh.
New Orleans. That's where I learned it.
Well,
Okay.
thank you for taking this hour and 40 minutes and sharing your life story.
Okay.
Hope it didn't make your wife mad. She take
No, she's up on the computer.